Hello and welcome to the Fierce Urgency of Now in Today's Schools podcast. I am Dr. Cynthia Mama J. Johnson, a voice of hope in education, and I will be your host. Thank you, as always, for joining me for another episode. Before we jump in, let me remind you why we gather. The Fierce Urgency of Now in Today's Schools podcast is dedicated to disrupting, interrupting, and dismantling barriers to changing student outcomes in our nation's schools. Why? Because our children need us now more than ever before, so we've got to come together, meet them where they are. Not leave them there, but to take them to a whole new level. What I want you to know today, my guest, Dr. Felecia Tolliver, is one of those individuals that's taking not only students and educators and families, but she is taking leaders to a whole new level. Dr. Tolliver, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
I love it. I love it. Let me tell you what, as I learn more about you and more about your district, I just believe that you're doing some phenomenal work in the space
Thank
that
you.
you're in. And I love that. So let me just take a moment to tell our audience today just a little bit more about you. I know I'm not going to have time to go through everything that you've been through because you have a story and there is glory in your story. But what I'm
Yes,
going to do
ma'am.
is just going to share just a little bit and then give you just a minute or so to talk about a few other things in your story, if you don't mind.
Okay. Not
So
at all.
I want to begin today with this beautiful quote that I saw that you posted, and I also see it in your bio here today. It says, leadership is not a title, it is a responsibility to transform the systems we inherit. Now, you
Yes.
know, anytime you have the words responsibility and transform and systems in the first two sentences, you know this is about to be on and popping. I'm going to put it to you just like that. So I'm excited to have you here today. It says currently, she is serving as director of educational support programs. And in this role, she partners with leaders and organizations to rethink leadership and how this shows up in practice, from culture and decision making to equity and accountability. She helps leaders move from fixing individuals to redesigning. Somebody say redesigning systems to
Redesigning.
allow people to thrive. So she is helping educators and leaders to thrive so they can in turn go back and help our students to thrive. That's what it is all about. And that is why we are here today. Now, I want you to know there is tons more that I can share. I got one more quote that I want to share because I saw this posted on LinkedIn this week. It says,
Okay.
I build spaces where leadership is defined not by burnout or compliance, but by clarity, courage, and alignment. You know we
Yes.
are in for a ride today. So, Dr. Tolliver, come on, tell us a little bit more about you, who you are.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I am born and raised Kansas City, and I'm out here in California via military. I was one of those. I used to always say I ran away from home, if you will, but I joined the military, and it was such a wonderful experience. But when I left the military, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And I remember one of my college professors told me, he said, Felecia, you're going to be a great teacher. And, at the time I looked at him and I said, ooh, I don't know if that's for me. But I knew that I wanted to inspire. I knew I
Okay,
wanted to
okay.
motivate. And so I never quite knew how to do that. So I ended up getting into the educational system and loved it. I said, hey, if I could just get one kid, one student to say it because of, at the time, my name was Gray, because of Miss Gray, I made it through.
I love it. I love
I,
it.
I said I would, that was my goal.
Right.
And so that's what started me with teaching. But as you grow as a teacher and you become a leader within your own building, um, things start to transform. I
Right.
had a wonderful mentor, principal, that once told me, when you wanted to make change in the students, you became a teacher in the classroom. When you wanted to affect change with teachers in your building, you become administration. And when you wanted to affect change within your entire district, that's when you become at the district level or a superintendent.
Woo!
And so
Woo!
I've always kept that at the core,
Right,
because if I want to affect change, I wanted to be that
right,
change maker.
right, right.
Mahatma Gandhi always said, be the change you want to see in the world.
Yes,
So if I
yes.
was going to do it, I needed to really walk in that. And so that's what I've grown to be. And so that's kind of just me in a nutshell.
I love it. I love it. I got to give you a tambourine shake because I'm telling you what, whoa, you've just given us a master class going from what it means to be a teacher, what it means to be a principal, and what it means to lead at the district level. Now, I want my audience
Yes.
to know that when I first engaged with Dr. Tolliver, and can I call you Felecia if you don't mind?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
you always know I'm just Mama J. Um,
Yes.
but when I first worked with you and connected with you, and we were talking, and it was months and months later on LinkedIn, and then we connected just in an informal meeting, kind of a get to know and coaching session. It blew my mind when you said, I'm from Kansas City. I'm like, huh? I'm like, LinkedIn says that you're in California. And she said, that is where I am, but I'm in Kansas City. So I want you to know she's taken all of this fire that she has, and you can feel it in her bones, and you can feel it in your bones, and you can feel it in your soul. And she's out there in California. We love it. We want you to spread it across the world. Take everything
Yes.
that you have and make a change. So let me jump into our very first question.
Okay.
What brings you to the work of educating today's youth, and what keeps you doing the work?
What brought me is I saw there was a need. So
Okay.
I talk about my journey in education, and it started when I was stationed in Louisiana, and there was a shortage of teachers. And it occurred to me, I said, hold up, what are we talking about? A shortage of teachers. And they were flying, had a news report how they were flying in these teachers from out of the country. And I said, you know what? No, I can do this.
Right.
I want to be that change. And I had such great teachers when I was in high school.
Right.
Shout out to Sumner Academy, Kansas City. And I said, no, I want to be that. I wanted to affect change just as much. And so what brought me in was the fact that I saw there was this great need, especially
Yes.
of young African American students who were just constantly being left behind
Right.
and misunderstood.
Right.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, my introduction to education was raw. I was trial by fire, but I realized that that's kind of always been my MO, and it was nothing but God. And I always have to bring in God,
Right.
because I never knew which lane I wanted to go, but I always knew I wanted to help kids.
Right.
And so getting inside that classroom is helping inspire and seeing those little light bulbs come on. It was like, okay, yes, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do when
Love
I'm
it.
supposed to do it. What keeps me now is the fact that I'm able to help my administrators, help my leaders in the building, even and
Yes.
still helping my teachers, because I'm able to see them in different ways and coach them and guide them and say, hey, look, guys, remember, at the end of the day, we are here for these kids.
Right.
We are here to make sure we are bringing up the next generation that's going to lead us to the next. And so ensuring that my teachers and my administrators know that they have somebody that's behind them, rooting for them.
Right.
I like to call myself the ultimate cheerleader. I said it all during my dissertation and my doctoral journey. I said, I am everybody's cheerleader. I'm the one that's in the back that's going to pump everybody up. I'm like, no, you can do this.
Right.
Because I know what it's like to feel like you don't have anybody in your
Right.
corner. You
Wow.
don't have anybody that's really pushing you through. And so you have to find it within yourself. So I said, no, you're going to have that with me. If you don't have nobody else in this world that's going to pump you up, I'm going to be that person that's going to be in your corner telling how much you can do. And I tell my daughter, and I'm tell my son as he gets older, we don't use the word can't
Right.
in this
Right.
house. We have nothing but growth mindset. We're unable to do it at this time, but give me about 5 minutes and I'll get back to you, and we're going to have it down pat. And
I
that's how
love
we
it.
live.
And I love it. And you know what? Really, what that is? That's a yet mentality. We don't have it
Mm-hmm.
yet. That's a yet
Yet.
mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. So I love that. I love that. Let's jump to our second question.
Okay.
From your lens, What is the fierce urgency of now in today's schools?
The fierce urgency, I believe, of now is we have to redesign the systems that
Hmm.
are holding our students back.
Woo!
You
Come
know,
on.
we talk about
Just pause.
inequities.
Girl, let me just say this. Pause for a moment. Go back and say that again. Somebody in the back of the room needs to hear it. And when they play this, they need to hear. Say it one more time.
We need to redesign the systems that are holding our students back.
Oh, girl, I'm telling you what. I'm telling you what. That is fun. Why do you say that?
We tend to think that the reason why kids quote unquote won't do or
Uh
can't
huh.
do is based off of behaviors, family things, motivation. It's
Right.
not. When you really get down to it, students are kind of unfortunately pigeonholed in certain things, or they're putting on certain pathways. Oh, those kids can't do this, or
Right.
oh, they've never been. No, the system works the way it's designed, which is to keep certain kids
Yep.
here and certain kids over here. We have to disrupt that. You cannot
Right.
go around fixing quote unquote people. Oh, we need more professional development for our teachers. Oh, we need more of this. No, we don't. We need to redesign the
Yep.
systems that are plaguing our school systems and really work it to where we are putting our kids, no matter who they are, in a
Right.
position of success. Because
Right.
I tell you, that kid that you think that can't do, won't do, what have you, you put them in the right situation, I
Right.
promise you, they're going to show you something. And they
Right.
always do. They
They
always do.
always do.
They always do.
I'm telling you, when you said that, when you just said those words that you put them in, put students in a situation, and you tell them that they can't do something, that person is going to flip it around and they're going to turn it around. You see that little 5-year-old girl back over my shoulder?
Uh huh.
That's Cynthia K. That's me. Okay. So I just want you to know I'm that person that they said wouldn't make it. They said I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. But
Oh,
God,
no. And look
but
at you.
God.
But God.
Right,
Yes.
but God, and I love that. I love that because, and when we focus on the systems, and I agree with that. And I talk about, with the fierce urgency of now that we have to look at what's going on right now. Things that are happening in
Mm-hmm.
our schools today, it's not working. We are
Mm-mm.
still doing things in our classrooms that we should have stopped doing 50 years ago.
Yes.
I've been doing this for a long time. I'm 35 plus years in, closer to 40 years in, and doing this work. And so when I go in and I see things that were happening, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, why are we still doing that? Stop
Mm-hmm.
doing it. Which is why I'm just going to say to you as we lead to our next question, that's why I say disrupt, interrupt, and dismantle barriers. And those barriers
Yes.
sometimes are the systems
The systems, you're
that are
absolutely
holding our
right.
kids back, that are holding our families back, keeping our families out of the schools. Because I'm telling you what, if you're holding the kids back, you show enough, and I said show enough because I'm a country girl, you show enough don't want the adults and
Yes.
the family members. We don't want grandma. You don't want big mama.
Uh-huh.
You don't want pawpaw in there. I know. I know. Woo, you said a lot. I'm telling you. Woo, girl, you got me fired up here. Woo, I got to take a tambourine break. I'm telling you. Let's look at another question.
Okay.
What are you willing to disrupt, interrupt, and dismantle? You can do all three or just do one to ensure that students have access and opportunities to thrive in today's schools, but also beyond school. What are you willing to do?
I am willing to make a lot of people uncomfortable and
Hmm.
unhappy.
Why? Why?
When
Tell
it
me
comes
why.
to, and the reason I say that is because people get comfortable
Yeah.
in the status quo.
Yeah.
People get comfortable in doing just bare minimum and basics.
Right.
My job is to create environments where students thrive. And sometimes that means upsetting certain people.
And normally it
And
is. It normally it
it
is.
is. It is because people, again, I want to do what's comfortable. I want to do what's safe. I want to
Right.
do, what has always been done.
Right.
Why, interrupt the system? Well, the system is wrong. The system is broken.
Right.
So,
Yes.
in order for us to redesign, you got to break it.
Right.
Sometimes,
Right.
in order to
Woo.
create something new, you got to destroy what has been there in order
Woo!
to make it better. You don't build a new building on top of the same old soil.
Right,
You know,
right,
I
right.
always think about it, and it's totally weird, but what is it, the 80s movie Poltergeist, you know,
Uh-huh.
it came about because all they did was remove the headstones. They didn't dig
Right,
up anything.
right,
Sometimes you got to dig up all of it. You got to
right,
remove
right,
all of it in order to
right,
lay fresh soil, fresh foundation.
right.
So I'm willing to interrupt and disrupt all of it in order to save my children and to be able to create an environment where they feel safe, they feel
Yes.
heard and valued,
Right.
they feel able to go way beyond what even they imagine themselves they can do. So that's
Yes.
what I'm willing to do.
Come on now. Come on now. Somebody. I tell you what, you know, there for a little bit, I forgot that we were talking about education because I didn't know if you were preaching or not. Because when you start talking about we have to break it and then you have to make it new, girl, because I'm gonna tell you something. When you are broken, and when you understand that spiritual ramifications of what you just illustrated for us, when you understand that brokenness, you have to be broken. So don't be afraid of being broken, because what's really happening is that you are being made anew. You're being
Yes.
renewed, and that is absolutely beautiful. That's exactly what you just said. In our systems, they have to be broken. So that means you have to stand up and say, we cannot do that. Now, I'm gonna tell you something right now,
Mm-hmm.
Felicia. You are not going to be
Yes,
popular.
ma'am.
You are not going to be popular.
No,
But
no.
honey,
And you know
you
what?
know
That
what?
is okay.
That is okay. And people gonna walk around, they're gonna talk about you, they're gonna scandalize your name, they're gonna criticize you. But you have to keep your eyes on what you are doing, and that is ensuring that students, regardless of who they are, where they come from, because your population of students that you work with in Louisiana is not the same population that you're working with now in California. But that's all right, because guess what? They are children. And if
Yes.
you love them, they will allow you to reach them. If you reach them, they will allow you to teach them. If you would teach them, they will allow you to succeed with them. Doesn't make a difference what the
Yes.
color of the skin looks like. Yes, I want you,
Mhm.
we always know we want you to see the skin color, but don't let that make a difference in how you stop or you move forward in reaching our children.
Absolutely.
So that is so
Absolutely.
absolutely powerful. Talk to us a little bit more about why this is so important to you about the disrupting, interrupting, and dismantling, because I felt the passion there, and I saw that in you.
It it is a passion. I think for me it comes from I had to go through it.
Okay.
um, I had to have be broken, and the Lord really had to work with me because I knew there was something in me. I just could never figure out what,
Right.
and I
Right.
knew that there was always this. Like you said, there was this barrier. Even when it
Yes.
came to my teaching in Louisiana and here in California, there was always a barrier.
Yes.
There was always oh, not
Mm.
those kids. Oh,
Right.
not
Right.
those
Right.
kids. And why
Wow.
not these kids?
Right.
I remember when I first started, my principal she probably did not like me at all. And I was a brand new teacher, but I would never follow certain things because they kept saying, well, no, those kids aren't allowed to do that.
Right.
And they kept saying, why can't we? And when I started allowing them to kind of go beyond their boundaries, I saw them open up. I saw them begin to thrive. And I said, you know what? I don't care if I get in trouble, guys. We're going to do this. I'm going to teach you how to read. I'm going to let you
Right.
read things that even they said you couldn't do. And
Right.
they felt so empowered and they felt as if they could now move on and do more. And so that is what kept me going,
I
you
love it.
know? And so that's why for me now, disrupting and dismantling, hey, if we got to bring it down, we're going to have to bring it down because
Come on.
obviously this system is not working. And what we need to do is start over and create environments where our kids are the number one priority, not the
Number one.
adults in the room.
Right.
Our
Right.
kids are the number one
Right.
priority. And we
Right.
always keep that in the forefront.
I'm gonna tell you something. Always, would just people would just be shaking their heads when I would be putting those master schedules together, whether it's a middle school level, at the high school level, and I would say, um, the master schedule is not for the adults.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? It's for the children.
For the children.
So I mean, there's things that you have to do that is not always popular. When you were talking, it made me think about I was in in one of my doctoral classes, and a principal was talking, and she said, I've got to move the gap kids around. I've got to spread them out in different classes so I don't have too many gap kids in the same class. And I'm like, gap kids, what do you mean? Do they shop at the Gap? And she said, no, the gap kids, the
Yeah,
ones
the
that are
ones that
not
are
going to score, the ones that are not going to score. I said, do what? That's what I said. Is that what you call them for real? I mean, that just blew me away. So already, so
Mhm.
here is a principal already
With the mindset.
with a mindset and put them into this system that you're never going to achieve this. So I'm not going to put too many gap kids in one classroom.
Hmm.
So,
And all that does is trickle down to the teacher, who then trickles it down to the kids.
right,
And then they
right,
sit in their mind and think, well, I'm not going to pass anyway. I'm not going to do well anyway. Why should I try?
right. Wow, wow. And if that child has been a sibling of other children that maybe have had some problems and things, you see the last name, oh, Collins.
Uh-huh.
I
Here
don't want
come
to be
those
bothered with that.
kids.
Right. I know that family ain't never been nothing. I mean, those are types of things
Hmm.
you hear. So
Yeah,
wow,
you hear it all the time. You hear it all the
every
time.
day,
And that
every
those
day.
are those systems. That's the system I'm talking about breaking.
Right,
Get out of, oh, here comes those kids, or I have to put these kids in these class. No, no, no,
yeah,
no. Line them up so every kid has an opportunity to
right,
have the best teachers. Because
right,
sometimes you're like, oh, those kids need to go with that teacher, or
right.
though they need to go. No, every kid on your campus should have the opportunity to have the absolute best. Every teacher on your campus
Yeah,
needs to give their absolute best.
there you
Every
go.
administrator, every
Yes,
janitor. Sometimes, oh goodness, I done lost my earpiece.
that's all right. That's all right.
It's okay.
Keep
Can you still
talking.
hear me? Because it
I
done
sure
fell
can.
across the room. Every every staff, every paraprofessional, everyone on your campus has to be in the same mindset,
Right.
to the point all of our kids are important. All
Right.
of our kids are the ones who are the gate kids, because you always hear
Yes.
about the gate. Every kid in
Yes.
here is a kid. There
The
are
cusp.
no
The cusp
blind kids.
kids. The kids that are on the cusp.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So many things. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. I can hear you perfectly. So let me ask you this: if you had to give our audience a call to action, because this is not just about we're going to sit here and we're going to talk. I'm not about that. Yes, I enjoyed the conversation, but there's an urgency. So, what is your call to action to bring about change in the field of education, beginning with you, with your own district, and then take it abroad?
I would say my call to action is take an honest look at yourself
Okay.
and those around you,
Okay.
because it starts with me.
Right.
It started with, am I perpetuating the same thoughts, feelings, ideas that keep that system that needs to be broken alive?
Right.
And
Right.
if I am the one still a part of it, I need to
Mm.
break out of that. It
Yes.
starts with me. A lot of times we like to start with pointing fingers. No, it starts
No.
with me,
Starts with
because
me.
I'm going to be the one who starts it.
I
So I
love it.
start with me, and I look and say, okay, how am I perpetuating these ideas? I need to
Yes.
stop this one, or
Yes.
I need to keep this one going. This one needs to come to the forefront. And when it comes to my district, I'm doing the same thing. I'm listening to my leaders. I'm ensuring that they feel heard and
Yes.
seen the same way I want them to make their teachers feel heard and seen, in the same way I want my teachers to make those students feel heard and seen.
Love
And
it.
so that would be my call to action, is take a look at self and make sure self is doing what self needs to do to push things forward. And if not, we need to make those changes. And
Woo!
if we are, let's keep them pushing.
Come on, come on. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, I want my audience and my family to know you've had a master class today. If you don't realize it, a master
Thank
class
you.
on what it takes to truly redesign. I wrote it down. Here's my note right here. It says redesign the system that's holding our students back. Now,
Yeah.
come on, somebody, come on, somebody. That's going to be the title. I know people always ask me, Mama J, do you give people the title? No. I listen to what you're sharing because I want you to come be your authentic self, and I want you to speak from your heart, speak from your soul. And your soul today said redesign the system. I'm telling you, that's going to get people's attention today. Now, I want to say to my audience in closing today, woo, this is a beautiful way to close out this day. I think it's almost 8 o'clock here in Central Time Zone and Pacific Standard Time. It's 6:50 or something like that. What time is it there?
What time is it? 5:50.
5:50. 5:50. We've had a long day. I know I've been rolling since 2:15, but you know
Oof.
what? There's nothing that stops me when I talk about children. When I think about changing the trajectory of the lives of the children that come into our schools today, that's what keeps me going. If somebody would say, what would you do if they wouldn't even pay you? I would help a child.
Uh-huh.
Well, what would you
Yes.
do if you only had chalk and a chalkboard? I
I'm
would
gonna
help
help
a
a
child.
child. Mm-hmm.
What if you only had a rock in the sidewalk? I'd help a child.
Yes, ma'am.
Just that's all it takes. It takes a heart full of love to lift
Yes.
our children, and we have the power to lift every single child. So I want you to know in closing today, there's a lot going on in our world. There's wars, there's rumors of wars, there's gas prices that have risen almost $1 in a
Yeah.
month. There's so many people struggling, people that cannot get their medicines. And guess what? All of that eventually trickles down to our children. But
Mm-hmm.
all I ask you to do, my audience today, is to bring joy, and last but not least, bring hope to our children. So, regardless of what it looks like and what it sounds like and what you hear on the news, what you see on social media, it's dark out there. But always let your light shine. So, Dr. Felecia Tolliver, I want to say to you today, I want to encourage you. I'm your cheerleader today. I want you to know that I want you to be a light for all the world to see. Because I want you to know and always remember that Mama J is always going to let her light shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Dr. Tolliver, I thank you so absolutely much. I'm still on fire thinking about
Thank you. Thank
episodes today.
you.
Oh my gosh, until we meet again. Now, when you come on home, you give me a holler because
Yes, ma'am, I will. I will.
we're
I
going to
will.
get some barbecue. The
Yes,
best,
ma'am.
the best barbecue in the land. Shh, don't tell nobody. We don't want anybody to get mad. Thank you for joining me on the fierce urgency of now in today's schools podcast.